the best reason to be a writer? My academic advisor in college used to say it was about changing the world. My opinion differed. Sometimes it could be because you have a story to tell and it needs telling. Maybe you're working through something that needs catharsis. I think the reason, better than saving the world, is the reason why this week's interviewee decided to become a writer. But I'll let her share about that. Hi, I'm your host, Garrett K. Jones, and for the second Author Awareness August video, I'm interviewing Toronto native Stephanie Bensimon. Hey, happy Saturday everybody. Welcome back for the second interview of this year's marathon. Last week was a fantastic start with fellow Kings County author Danielle Bellwood. Now if you missed last week's interview, you can find that tagged right up here, or you can wait for the Author Awareness August playlist to pop up at the end of the video. I'm doing an open call for all previously interviewed authors, including those interviewed on my podcast, to come back on the show and provide their top 10 book recommendations for season 4. I need lists for November through June. October is already taken care of, and I will be providing the top 10 recommended audiobooks for the month of July for season 4. Now, if you're one of those authors and you're watching this, please contact me through social media. I'm also doing an open call for new authors to sign up for monthly interviews for season 4. I've had some really great bites already, so if you're a writer who has just recently connected with me on social media, or we've been connected for a while and you're just now getting a book put out, I would love to invite you to participate in an interview. Now, if you've already been on the show before and you have something new coming out, I'd also like to invite you back for a follow-up. I'm still doing 2 major giveaways right now. First, to help promote my new poetry audiobook, The Lover, the Fighter, and the Philosopher, I am giving away a unique promo code for a free download through Audible for the first 20 new supporters on Patreon. Being a patron already gets you some really great perks for as little as $1 per month, but being able to get a free audiobook, well, that is just a pretty neat add-on. Second, I'm giving away this autographed poster featuring the cover art from my books. There's no charge to sign up, and every author that I have interviewed through the end of season 3 is already going to be automatically entered into the drawing. The sign up link is down in the video description, and like I said, it's free. You can't get any better than that. Before going any further with the video, be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon for notifications on new videos. You can select notifications for all videos, or you can select notifications based on your preferences. If you're watching on your phone, be sure to update those settings inside the app itself to get the most out of your viewing experience. I'm excited for this episode because I've had the chance to work with Stephanie on the production of one of her books. It was a really neat experience to be invited to participate, and I love getting to collaborate with fellow writers and getting to talk about a particular song that has stuck with me for nearly 20 years. But let's get into the interview so that you guys can appreciate this author as much as I do. All right, well, welcome, Stephanie. Thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate having you here.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, tell me about your work. What do you write?
I write a variety of different things. So right now I'm actually working on my 4th book, but the 3 that have been put out thus far are actually very different in content. So mainly I really like to focus more on like life and just ideas and possibilities and So yeah, it's just very my first book was an actual novel. The second one was a poetry book. Third one is a collection of letters. This next one is a diary. So very diverse type of writer.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So tell me about each of these books. You said the first one's a novel. What's that one called?
So the first one is called Own It, The Raw Guide to Owning Your Life. That one was actually written in 12 days. Just decided to pick up my computer and just start writing.
Hold on. How long is this book? Like
34,000 words.
You wrote 34,000 words in 12 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, that was, I mean, really, it was all about going like in the moment, right? I don't know. I'm the kind of person that I'm really guided by inspiration. So when I get that inspiration, I just kind of I run with it and I don't let it. And then I make a promise to myself that I can't stop until it's done. So, so that book is really just about just owning your life and taking ownership of your life and taking responsibility and overcoming your fears. And it's really just it was really like a step-by-step guide that I kind of took to actually, completing, just kind of accomplishing a goal really. And just a form of a series of steps that kind of worked for me, really.
Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. And so the second one you said is a book of poetry, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So that one is called Enlightened, Poetic Justice. So that's a series of poems. That one was actually a collection of poems that I did over the course of the year I started writing from November 19th, about there of 2019 until the end of December 2020. Okay. And so I just kind of put that all together into a book. And it was just kind of a mixture of mystery, fiction, fantasy, with a little bit of mix of real life content.
So just these different genres thrown into poetry form.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, really, what I did was I wrote it in the perspective of a character by the name of Amber. And then in the middle of, and then roughly around the month of January, she kind of, reaches this, I guess, height of enlightenment where things kind of start to get a little bit mystical for her. And then she kind of develops this alter ego by the name of Rosalind. So at first, the poetry is the stuff where she's kind of focusing on the negative, that's Amber. And then when she starts focusing on the positive, that's the alter ego Rosalind. That's been the stronger one that's kind of come out of the struggle on the other end.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool that you've got that kind of characterization and voice, because usually when you've got a poet's voice, usually it's the person writing the book, not a character. At least that's been my experience, and sometimes it does happen. So the third book, you said that one's a collection of letters. Is that the Book of Stan that I've been hearing so much about?
Yes. So the Book of Stan, that one took me approximately 3 months from time of conception until completion, until holding the copy, maybe almost 4 actually, because I was holding it, I think, on May 6th. But I got the idea around mid-January. And basically it's a book of 250 fans that came together from 59 different countries and wrote thank you letters to Eminem, Marshall Mathers, and just kind of talking about, how they kind of help them move throughout their struggles in their lives.
That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And I remember, because that's the big one for me, because you asked me to help and participate on that. And that was a really good experience. I've never participated with someone else's book, so that was really kind of cool. And so I want to thank you for including me on that.
No problem. Thank you so much for participating in that. You made that possible. So
I'm glad I could help. And so you've got the fourth book that you're working on now. And how soon is that going to be available for readers?
I'm hoping soon. This one is the Book of Stan, I wrote that in that one was over 100,000 words. So that one was written kind of quickly as well. So I have half of it written. I'm hoping it's already written. I have it. I actually do a lot of writing in my phone. That's actually I have all my books in my phone. So really right now I just have to edit. So It's called The Diary of Amber and Rosalind. So it's kind of like the backstory in journal writing to Poetic Justice. So it kind of goes
that you've got them linked.
Yeah. So right now, like I've done journal entries up until June of 2020. So I still have August to December to complete. So I'm hoping that should be out, I don't know, maybe by the end of August, maybe September.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're just knocking them out of the ballpark.
Yeah. I really I have this other idea brewing that I really want to get started on, but I can't start that one until I finish The Diary of Amber and Rosalind. So,
and that makes sense. And that actually helps segue into the next question about how you got your start in writing. What was this something that you've always wanted to do, or was this just like one day you're like, you know what, I want to write a book, and you jumped onto it?
Yeah, I mean, so I've always wanted to write a book. But it was one of, that was always like on my bucket list thing. But what inspired me to actually get into it, really, it was just, I was actually offered this business opportunity, which I had turned down. And then when I had graciously turned that down, they said to me, well, what are you going to do when we make it and you don't? So I said, okay, I wish you well, and I hope you make lots of money and wish you lots of success. And then I hung up the phone, I picked up my computer, and I started writing Own It. And so a lot of the stuff, it's kind of like, I think like my inspiration, wanting to prove to myself that I can kind of do these things. It's, yeah.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
If that makes any sense. Yeah.
No,
whenever I feel like something happens, it's like I'm kind of it's like my way of getting, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this in response to whatever is going on at the time.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. And, I think there's something cathartic when, someone gives you a challenge and says you're not going to do well with this. And it's fun because then you get to put yourself out there, and if it succeeds, then it's all the better because then you're like, hey, I did this. I accomplished this. I'm successful. And even if it doesn't get the same success that you'd hope it would, you have still put it out there, and you've still taken that challenge.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember with the first book, somebody had actually, somebody that I knew said that I should talk to this guy, who then said, your book doesn't sound like a book. It actually sounds like a course. So he took my manuscript, which I said, it's my first manuscript. It hasn't been edited. I haven't gone through it. I just wrote it. So be kind, right? So he ended up giving it to some publisher, and the publisher came back. She's like, you have to have a target audience. Who are you writing it for? You don't come, it's a weak book. It doesn't seem like you're an expert. You are 2 steps ahead of the audience. I said, we're talking about life here. I don't know anybody that's an expert at life. I don't know. I really don't. So no, I'm not. The point of the book is really to not be ahead of the reader. Is really to kind of say I hear where you're at, and I'm right there with you. So it's more so like a support book, and I get you, and my audience is really me, and whoever kind of likes it, and whoever doesn't. You know what I mean? But I do it more so for a sense of accomplishment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, we've talked about the kind of genres that you write and what got you into writing. What are some of your inspirations as a writer? Obviously, when someone's challenged you, you take that and you run with it. But are you, and clearly Book of Stan was inspired by your love of music, especially Eminem. Are there other inspirations that you draw from, film or nature, art? What?
Really, I'm a very passionate human being. So really what it is, I have a passion in trying to help people. So wherever it is that I see a problem where I feel things could be done better, that's usually where I draw a lot of inspiration from. So for example, with the motivational space, I see that there's a lot of, the books that I've seen have been, or the stuff, a lot, I feel the motivational space is really geared towards success in terms of money and making a lot of millions of dollars. But it's before you get to the millions of dollars, if your mindset isn't there, like you're not going to go anywhere. So it's more so like, let's own your life first, because if you can't own your life, then so it's really just trying to target, like really trying to get the root of the problem. And I'm really inspired by a lot of things. Like I'm inspired by everything, by people. Really, people inspire me. People.
That's excellent. Yeah, and especially with the idea of being success driven. I mean, there's that misunderstanding that just because you've made it, you've got the millions of dollars, it doesn't mean that the hang-ups and the problems and the self-sabotage that you were dealing with before have gone away. They don't even, in fact, they probably get worse when you So, being able to own up to whatever your hang-ups are, to work through them, I think that's great, because it treats life with a very healthy mindset.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, I think it gives people like, it's an outlet really. Like, so when I feel, like it's really just about, it's really talking about mindset. And like one of my pet peeves personally is people that can't take responsibility for their actions. So really that's also, trying to like, help people understand, like it's all right to make mistakes. It's all right to screw up. It's just, it's fine. Like we all screw up, and making things okay to like be normal and human and stuff. I don't know, but I get a lot of inspiration from everything, news events, things that happen, like poetic justice. I'm gonna tell you straight, like that was all just like, I'm gonna react as with like all the frustration in the world that all the frustration that I had in that moment, going through Corona and all of that, being new and all that. It was kind of like an outlet to kind of also like deal with that too. So
I think that's a fantastic way to deal with it, because it's far healthier than some of the other options that people were engaging in. I mean, you had substance use and abuse, depression, mental health issues skyrocketing, and I mean, this is a great positive example of what can be done under such restrictive conditions. So that's great. So the next question I have is dealing with those challenges. What has been the hardest part or the biggest challenge that you've encountered while creating your work?
I think, I think getting word out there is probably always, I think that to me is one of the biggest. Like, I don't really have an issue creating, because I run with the inspiration. Whatever I do in the moment, if I get that idea, like I start and I don't stop until it's done. Like, I remember there was one day for the book of Stand that I wrote like 47 summaries in a day. And it was just, not in a day. Sorry. That was over a weekend. Sorry. But afterwards, yeah. So like, really, like, I think like my biggest thing is that afterwards, like I don't usually talk about what I do. I just kind of like to create. And then it's just really getting the word out there, which is my biggest struggle all the time.
Yeah, especially for indie authors like you and I was talking with another author about this, and we don't have the big publishing houses backing us up. It's basically us. We're doing it. We're footing the bill, and any promotional information that we put out there, any images, any videos, whatever it is that we're trying to do, it's all on us. And so, we're operating very much from both a time budget and a financial budget at the same time.
Absolutely. Like I was thinking of like, I have to reorder some books, because I actually ended up giving back like 6 or 7 of the books to Amazon because they had screwed up. Like when they sent it to me, like the books were damaged. So I returned them. Yeah, I was so upset. I was like, oh, that's my work. Like the back was like crinkled. I was so upset. Anyway, so I sent it back. So I have to reorder them. But I was thinking of sending them to the publishing houses. But I'm like, I'm worried about sending it there, because I don't know what the conditions are with publishers. And I always want to make sure that no matter what, I get ultimate say, ultimate everything with the work that I create. You know what I mean?
Oh, believe me, I'm 100% a control freak when it comes to my work.
Yeah.
I'm so dead set on being the person who is controlling, the interest of it, because heaven forbid someone is like, oh, that's a great idea, let me run with that for you. It's like, no.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I completely understand that. So final question for the interview. If you could give any advice for other would-be authors watching this video or maybe listening to it while they're doing something else in the background, what would you say to them to kind of encourage and uphold them?
When you get the inspiration to write. Don't question it. Pick up your phone, do whatever, just write. Like whenever you have that inspiration, it doesn't matter where you are, write. And when you start on a project, do not stop until it's done. Even if you don't feel like it, write a page, write 10 words, do something, but make sure you're doing something every day and do not stop until it's done. Because the minute that you say, you know what, I'll pick it up in a couple months from now, the idea is going to be different and that inspiration is going to be different 3 months down the line than when you initially got that. So when you get that inspiration, run with it. Like that's all. Like do not let that moment pass you up.
That sounds very much like a certain Eminem song.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, lose yourself.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, Stephanie, thank you very much for being on the show. It's been a pleasure to have you here. And how can people find your work?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Live Empower Love, so LiveEmpower Love. You can also visit my website at liveempoweringLove.com.
Awesome. And are your books available on Amazon?
Yes, they are on Amazon. I put all the links to the different countries of Amazon on my website. So you could just visit the website and all of the books have all of their respective Amazon sites to different countries. So they're available worldwide. Well, wherever Amazon ships.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
A big thank you goes out to Stephanie Bensimon for her participation in this Author Awareness August interview. Now, if you're interested in following her on social media, all of those connections are linked down below. If you want to get a copy of her books, you can find them on Kindle and paperback through Amazon. Hey, you made it all the way to the end of the video, and that is awesome. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe because that is how this channel is going to be able to grow its viewership. Remember to sign up as a channel supporter by heading over to patreon.com/GKJ Publishing, where you'll have access to 4 support tiers of $1, $3, $5, and $20. Each tier comes with access to my blooper reel, sweet tier level perks, and special promotions. The first 20 new patrons will receive a unique promo code which can be redeemed on audible.com for a free copy of my audiobook, The Lover, the Fighter, and the Philosopher. Connect with me on Instagram and Twitter at GKJ_publishing. When you hit up the merch store on Teespring, you can easily rep something by posting a pic to social media of you wearing or holding the item and tagging me with the hashtag 5Kingdoms merch. I'd love to feature one of your pics in a future video. That's it for me, and I will see you guys back here next week for the 3rd interview featuring a joint conversation with Collective Tales Publishing. Thanks for watching. The vlog of the 5 Kingdoms is filmed without the use of a live audience at Skyrocket Studios in Hanford, California. We can't do what we do without your help, so please make sure to subscribe by clicking the button that's above my head, and make sure to watch and share the videos over here to my left. Have a great week.